Bill McKibben, what are the oceans showing us about the long-term prognosis for humankind?
Well, good question, but forget about long term, Richard. We're talking about things that are happening very much in real time at this point. Last year, for instance, was the most active hurricane season we've ever seen in the North Atlantic. We had 30 storms. We ran out of letters in the alphabet. We were into the Greek alphabet before we were done. And what the hurricane season demonstrated, among other things, was, and this is something Caroline was beginning to allude to, the kind of iron law of climate change. The less you did to cause it, the sooner and the harder you get hit. The last two storms of the year came ashore, Eta and Iota, came ashore about 10 miles apart in Nicaragua. They expended most of their fury on Honduras and Guatemala. The damage they did was almost unbelievable. We think the damage in Honduras may have been equivalent to about 3% of GDP, compared to about 1% of GDP in the worst storm ever to hit the U.S., Katrina. What that means is that there are a lot of people on the move now north from Central America to the southern border of the U.S. because you can't grow food if there's a foot of sand on your field, or you can't bring food to market if the bridge isn't there anymore. I don't know quite what the legal standing of those people will be when they arrive at the southern border of the U.S., but their moral standing is beyond reproach. People in Honduras and Guatemala did not a thing to cause climate change. Their totals in carbon tables were rounding errors, whereas those of us in the UK or the US have for hundreds of years been pouring carbon into the atmosphere. We're responsible for most of what's up there. So we now face this situation where the damage has started to really happen. The number of refugees from climate-related disaster, be it hurricanes over the ocean or be it desertification on land, now greatly outstrips the number who flee civil strife or unrest. And so if we're serious about talking about peace, then we're talking very much about doing everything we can, as Sebastian says, to try and limit the rise in temperature just as fast as we can. And I agree with Caroline, that's going to take some very different thinking than the thinking that got us into this mess in the first place.